Good afternoon, good evening. Hey, Turf Talk, man. It's always a pleasure, especially I know we love the football season, but the down part of the off season is where it all happens at, where teams, get built down and they come back together and coaches have a chance to rebuild programs. And that's why this man right here is so important to the city of Long Beach. And we're gonna talk about that. Turf Talk 101, me, Travon Smith. Shout out to my co-producers Gary Bryant Sr. and Coach Dennis Jackson always behind and definitely the machine behind this. This man right here, I had a chance to be watching him from afar. Then this last year, I mean, they over there making noise. I don't know how else to tell you. The city of Long Beach is in the building. Coach Curtis, how you doing?
Hey, thank you for that introduction, man. It's an honor, man. I'm excited to be on with you, talk some football and kind of how I do what I do, who I am, and what's going on at Wilson, man. Much appreciated.
Definitely. And I think that's important. Like we talked for a couple minutes off air. I think it's important, man, to tap in with schools like Long Beach and so people can understand what's going on over there with the culture too. It's not what you assume good or bad. You know what I'm saying? You got to hear from the horse's mouth. So that's why we got you on, man. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you for the people that may not know who you are, a little bit of background. And I
Yeah.
always tell coaches and players, don't be humble, man. Tell us what's going on.
Oh man, thanks for that, man. I'm the man. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm from Bellflower. I played at Bellflower High School, and I think people tend to like make an assumption about you based on like where you at, where you come from. So I say I played at Bellflower High School, and Bellflower wasn't very good when I went there. So the assumption is, you're not very. The same thing when I got to Wilson. When I got to Wilson, everybody's like, I automatically suck. You
Yeah.
know, I'm automatically terrible because I just picked up a job at Wilson. So I'm from Bellflower, not much of a history, but um, I learned a lot, man. From Pop Warner to high school, I was always, the leader. I was always, the man on the field, and even when we lost, other teams respected what I did. I played corner. I started, 3 years at Bellflower. I went and played Division III football, Pomona Pitzer, and the same thing. As soon as I say I played Division III ball, there's a jacket that people want to put on. Oh well, maybe I wasn't good enough to
Yeah.
play D1, or well, I'm 5'5", so that really wasn't the path for me. But I played 4 years at Pomona Pitzer. Started all 4 years, was all conference, defensive player of the year. So I played some good football,
Okay.
even though it may not be the household names. I went right back to Bellflower after I finished at Pomona Pitzer, and the first notch on my belt, so to speak, was upsetting the 26-year streak that La Mirada was beating Bellflower.
Okay.
I'm going on my 20th year, so I've been doing this upsetting, the status quo for a long time, and I started at my alma mater. So, we beat La Mirada first time in 26 years. Um, when it became the head coach, I was there for a decade. When it became the head coach of my alma mater, which was kind of my first dream come true, to be the head coach,
Yeah.
especially at my alma mater. I went over to Mayfair from there after some politics and you know, won league, had some success, went to the semis at Mayfair. I did my time at the JC level at Compton College.
Okay.
Didn't win a game there, but definitely, learned a lot from that
And
exposure.
and I'm gonna go ahead and say just because you said Compton Community College touched some lives in one way
Yeah.
or another, touched some lives in one way or another.
Oh yeah, man. You talking about kids that's, one foot in the street that football is saving their life,
Yeah.
from some other choices there. And football's always been that. That's really what I get out of it is, it's super rewarding, win or loss. The ability to kind of shape young people to make positive choices and to build confidence is really what I've always been,
Okay.
attracted me to doing what I do. So I went and picked up another head coaching job at Don Bosco Tech,
Okay.
small school. They hadn't won league in a decade.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
told
know,
them
I
that,
know. I know who they are. They played against Salesian the one time when I went.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
When I got there, they hadn't won league in 10 years, man, a whole decade. And then I told them it'll take 3 years, and we won league for the first time.
Okay.
Right when I told them it would happen. Went back to Mayfair with my guys over there, Bedell and Ziggy and them. Won CIF in 2023. Uh, did another year. We lost to PV in the semis, and the rest is history. I got the job at Wilson, and we won league my first year. Beat Poly for the first time in 34 years.
I
Uh,
seen that.
yeah, upset a lot of expectations that people had of us and me, and I did it. I did it leaning into it, man. I didn't sneak up on nobody. I told everybody I was coming for them, and
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
9-2, I believe, was the record, right, Coach?
91
No,
was last
no.
year that they had beat Poly on the field.
Okay, 91. But the record for this year for Long Beach Wilson was 9-2, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah, 9-2.
9 and
We
2. Okay.
yeah,
So I want to rewind right there, man. If you just tuned in, man, it's Turf Talk 101. We're talking to Coach Curtis, head coach of Long Beach Wilson. Let's talk a little bit about you arriving at Long Beach Wilson. Skepticism and other things going on about what you can do, what you can't do. I mean, you just
yeah.
came from Bellflower, man, all this other stuff. Talk a little bit about, approaching and coming in as the new man.
Well, my assessment at Bosco, or like, the production that we were able to achieve at Mayfair, I got an eye for the game. It came from my play. It came from, 20 years of seeing things work and not work, models that I wanted to incorporate, models that I wanted to stay away from. So I knew how to win. I knew how to build successful programs. And I thought I got to Wilson right after a very, very successful program building of Coach Clark and
Yeah,
Deshaun Jackson, um, in which those were kind of shadows, giants, that I'm coming into, and the comparison, right? Can
yeah,
I do what they did? And without diminishing that, I told people that know me, like, I shine too bright to be in anybody's shadow. I'm trying to leverage the foundation that they built, and I expect to elevate the program when I get there. Definitely taking that culture and building upon what they were able to do there. But I got all the hate in the world, man. From you guys, they were only good because of Clark. You're not gonna do
yeah,
nothing, to people sending me screenshots of the 70-0 at
yeah.
Poly, to the expectation. Everybody was telling me about this championship game that Milliken and Poly was supposed to play, and I told them, I take it as offense. I'm not invited to this championship game. So I used all that as motivation to outwork, outplan, out culture anybody that was in more leagues. So um, I didn't go in there feeling like I was second to anybody, and I think the kids needed to hear somebody lead them and say that,
Yeah.
and backwards plan what that looks like to actually achieve that, which I knew how to do. And I hit the ground running. I didn't look back. I didn't listen to anybody tell me that wasn't going to be the reality. And we proved everybody wrong and proved ourselves right.
Definitely, I think that's very important to prove yourself right. That's what I always tell the young men, because these young men so focused on people saying they hate, hate, hate. I said, man, just focus on proving yourself right. If you're the guy, prove yourself right. There's a couple questions I want to ask you in there. I want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about um w- it from Bellflower to Mayflower to
Mayfair.
Mayfair
Yep.
to Long Beach Wilson. If somebody just took all three screenshots of that, what's the common denominator they would see from a Coach Curtis team?
I I think you gotta go back to me, the player, to understand what I bring as a coach.
Okay.
I'm 5'5", and I was always the hardest hitter, always
Yeah.
the hardest hitter on the field. This. I think people, when I say Napoleon complex, people assume it as a negative, as if
Yeah.
you feel hurt because you're small, but really the Napoleon complex is nobody can stop him. He
Yeah.
thinks he can beat anybody and everybody, no matter what the odds are, and you know sometimes he bites off more than he can chew. But you're gonna find me, if the big guy, I'm going at you. The fast guy, I'm finding a way to solve problems, right? It's the cerebral approach to the game, right? I hear so much about talent. I don't believe in talent. I'm 5'5", and was never the fastest person on the field. So I can't go into the game feeling like you better than me just because you're taller, just
Yeah.
because you're faster, just because you're stronger. This is not track. This is not weightlifting. This is football. It's the great equalizer. Can me and my teammate negate what your strength is? Can me and my coach have a plan to restrict what your strength is, right? Can I play within a system that allows me to dominate? And it's all from a thinking man's approach to the game. So When I get to Mayfair, I'm finding a couple things that are keeping them from being great, and I'm articulating in a way that people believe like, oh, if we just do this, we can, win a championship. I get to Bellflower, and I'm bringing my Pomona Pitzer, strategy and tactics and philosophy in which it's not really built on having the best talent. I go to more league and I didn't bat an eye at anybody's talent. All the, we're getting the transfers or we got this star means nothing to me. Means absolutely nothing to me. Can you get your guys ready to play motivated, disciplined football? I know I can. And
Yeah.
I've done that in many different places. And when you play against me, everybody in more league now knows I'm a I'm I'm a I'm a factor myself. You're playing against Coach Curtis.
Yeah.
You're not worried, even if they don't have the fastest guys on the field, I got to count from Coach Curtis making, getting them motivated where they're not backing down. I got to worry about Coach Curtis out scheming me. I got to worry about all the things that, the efficiency that we have at practice, which is it's really hard to match.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
definitely. No, no, no. I had a chance to watch you from afar and watch the team, watch you. You guys did a good job of capturing moments of what we're talking about now. I got to see it. That's why it's important, I believe, for other people to see. The man you are. I didn't know you was 5'5" or nothing like that. I just seen the rupture and the lion in you when you talk to the kids. Let's talk a little bit about coming in to the season and did you have any moments where you was like, man, what did I get myself into? Or, where you had to turn it up a notch or, you had to bring out a little bit more because you know where you was trying to go and you knew you had to play Long Beach Poly and Compton and all them. So
yeah.
I knew you had to dig deep at some point. Just can you talk a little bit about that? Some times where like, man, I had to dig in the bag for
Well,
this.
I think the gap that you're talking to of what people say and what the outcomes on the field is always the unknown of the kids,
Okay.
right? My message is the same. I've been crafting this message, kind of since I got my feet kind of grounded at Bellflower. It's a very similar message. Can you get kids to believe what you say? There's a million ways to win in football, right? You can go spread, you can go, you know, uh, uh, you know, to wing T, right? I've seen both styles win a championship game.
Yeah.
It's the quality of what you're doing,
Okay.
right? So can we prepare kids at a higher level than my opponents? I knew because of my approach and my uh, my philosophy that I can do this. And the challenge was, can I get people to believe that I can do this?
Got you.
Can I get the kids to believe that 34 years means nothing? And that all came from my message and the hats that I wear that have nothing to do with football,
Okay.
right? This is how my relationships that I build with parents and kids and the expectations. I told my parents, you guys want to be poly? Stop letting your kids sleep till noon on a weekend.
Okay.
You want to be poly? You're gonna
Okay.
have to feed them. You have to feed them.
Yeah, oh,
You know what I mean?
back. You took it back to him. Yeah, yeah, I got you. I
Oh
got you.
yeah, and I told him. I said, if let me know if I'm doing. Let me know if I'm doing too much. I back off. I just throw the ball out there. You don't want to win. You know what I mean? I could approach this differently. You want to win, you have to accept the program full fledged.
Okay.
The plan doesn't work with second guessing Coach Curtis. Because, like I said, any plan could work if you have that fidelity and you have everybody bought in. So that's where the gap of like, okay, can I actually do this? I'm sitting in my house, right, away from the game, like, all right, yeah, we about to play poly.
Yeah.
But it all starts with that belief. Mr. Smith, it all starts with
Yeah.
me talking to my kids and saying, I've never lost to Poly. Me, I've
Me.
never lost to Poly.
Yeah,
I'm 0-0 against Poly, and so are you, because now you play for me.
yeah, I
So
got you.
34 years should mean nothing to you guys. We're all 0-0 against Poly, and now I'm 1-0 against Poly. When we went for the 2-point conversion and the win, we had been planning that play for about 3-4 months. Nobody had ever seen it. There was no way that Poly could have prepared for that play when we had been working on it for that specific situation. The game was over. It was over before we ever stepped on the field because my players were believing in what we do at such a high level, and all I'm doing is looking for chinks in the armor. Right? We play Milliken. We were expected to get blown out. They were supposed to score 70, 100 points on
Yeah,
us, and I'm standing at midfield ready, and
yeah,
my kids saw that like this is a different type of cat.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, hey, I want to play for him. Let me listen to his
yeah.
message. So the doubt was already stamped away once I got people to believe in what I did, and that was pretty early on.
Okay. Okay, hey, man, if you just tuning in, man, we got some conversation right here. Coach Curtis, Long Beach Wilson, 9-2. First time they beat Poly in decades.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about the Poly win. What was the culture like? Did parents come talk to you? Did the players say something to you after the game? Because it's a monumental moment. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just not like, okay, even though as coaches, we cliche and say it's just another win. But how did
Mhm.
the kids feel? How did what was some of the momentum going around the school?
Well, I mean, I think the momentum built up, right? So I'm before we get to Poly, we got to go to our first loss at Dana Hills.
Danny Hills.
Dana Hills, all right. So we're 3-0. We're feeling really good. Beat some teams they had lost to, right? We beat Marina. Came out the gate strong against some, maybe some talent that wasn't, as prestigious as a Milliken or a Poly. And then we lost to Dana Hills. Dana Hills, I think uh, this style of football, right? Not one athlete that I think is superior to us. Uh, but a discipline and a stoicism about how, what they do and how they do it that just completely outclassed us.
Yeah.
And I think most coaches, a lot of coaches, take a loss like that and they want to like gloss over it or think it was chalk it up to a bad day or a bad week of practice. Where
Trap
I have
game. Oh, that was a
trap
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 game. It was
game,
a trap
right? Trap game, right? It's easy to kind of scapegoat the program like that, or do something silly like oh, it's all on me. You're not lie. It's all on me, the coach. Well, I took a different approach. I wanted to learn every single lesson that Dana Hills had to teach us, and I told my players, I'll take as much responsibility as you let me take. I'll take 100% of it if you let me. But then again, did I, you know, jump? Did I drop a pass? Did I miss a tackle? Did I, you know what I mean? Did I, and I had a lot of leaders that stepped in and said, actually, coach, no, you didn't. I want to take some responsibility too. Then another, then another. So that leadership is what started to take hold after that Dana Hill game, starting with me. Same with the coaches. Hey, we're gonna go down every single coach. No coach gets to tell another coach that step on what they think is gonna make us better. You got the floor. Give me a couple things that we learned from Dana Hills. Boom, building a list. Okay, we got to get better at this. We got to devote more time to this. We got to change the way we approach this. We got to message this differently. Where we had about a page of action items that we wanted to implement the very next day. Practical, pragmatic, right? We want to spend 15 more minutes on tackling. We want to make sure that we can do this, in this situation. So we got to install it, right? We want to, shift where our attention is, in so many different spaces where, oh, we're a different team now that we lost,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Now we stringing off, win after win again. And you start to build a momentum where the expectation is that we were going to beat Poly. That was the
Okay.
that was the bubbling on the streets is
Yeah.
that Wilson figured it out as Polly is, still, they got, changes, they got discontinuity, they're chinks in the armor again, right? So I'm pointing out all these chinks in the armor as I'm fortifying what we do. So we go into that game and there was no doubt on my team about what the outcome of that. We were down 14 points with 5 minutes, and not one player hung their head. Not one player batted an eye. There was no arguing on the sideline. Where Polly was up 14, and you saw all that. You saw the frustration. You
Bunch
saw
of
the bickering.
bunch of independent
And
stars, I
yeah, I mean, a lot of independence where our
talent. Yeah.
culture is what won that game, and our culture got reinforced after a loss
Okay.
in the Hills. And I knew I won that. I won. We have won about a dozen games on that 2-point conversion play in my career. A time with Bedell over at
Yeah.
Mayfair, and we were together at Bellflower. So I knew that play was going to work.
Yeah,
It's almost impossible to stop because if the defender is inside, you throw it outside. If he's outside, you throw it inside. If they
yeah.
got that covered, there's like, one, two, three options. And
Hey,
I just had so much faith in that play that the faith was palpable. And my team had no doubt of what the outcome was going to be. And I don't think they've ever been able to take that type of confidence since 1991.
hey, definitely. If you just tuned in, man, we talking to Coach Curtis. We having a heck of a conversation. Um, 9-2 this year. Beat Long Beach probably for the first time. Got a chance to implement his systems, bring his practice ethics, put together his staff, and get on the same page. Talk a little bit about going into next year. Because now this will be your second year, right?
Yeah, this will be my second year at Wilson.
So everybody kind of knows the culture. Everybody kind of knows the expectations. And guess what? They also know you ain't the underdog no more. So talk
Yeah.
about that. Is that something you bring up to the kids, or is that
Oh,
something
yeah.
you just talk about?
So I think head coaches got to wear multiple hats, and where do you get that training to organize, right? If you're a teacher, how are you developing, skills in salesmanship and branding? Where I've had the opportunity to do enough different jobs before I got into the classroom. I've been in sales. I know how to market a program. So when I first got to Wilson, the entire rebranding of who we are started immediately, right? I'm promoting my players, I'm promoting myself, I'm promoting
Yeah,
the positives, right? We have our success, and now we went from having unfinished business as the underdog to being the age of Wilson. And we are the standard
yeah,
now. If teams want to gloss over or think that Wilson was a fluke, you behind the eight ball, man, because we're doing some real things that
yeah,
give us confidence.
yeah,
So if you're not matching us in the classroom, let alone the weight room, you're not matching us in the classroom, you behind the eight ball.
yeah,
If you're not matching us from a culture standpoint with how your kids are operating on campus, in the streets, at their home, if you're not messaging the connection between you don't just play disciplined football, you live a disciplined life.
yeah.
And football is an outcome of that. Right. So getting that to catch on, and for those kids to live a disciplined life, to live student athletes, you better be matching us
Okay.
on that level, right? We run Long Beach,
Yeah,
and can't nobody argue with me. we
yeah,
run it,
yeah,
we run it. So if you want to run it, you better be almost asking me how I did it. You better be listening to this podcast. You better
yeah.
start doing some
Oh,
research.
they gonna listen, and
You,
they gonna go back and find that 2 point play, and they gonna have
yeah,
that shit memorized.
you got to. You better.
Yeah, yeah,
You better, right? You better, right? You better.
yeah,
You better study Pomona Pitzer.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? They one of the top Division III programs in the nation now. You know what I mean? They doing what we were doing when I was there for the first time. We beat Redlands my last game of the year for the first time in 17 years
okay,
at Pomona Pitzer. Since then, they've been winning SCIAC.
yeah,
Year in and year out, right? So all of them are straight A students,
yeah,
Rose Scholars, right? They beating Redlands and teams with better talent because they are um, acute to you know, where is the gap in your programming? Because we do a good job of finding that.
okay,
So if you have a weakness, we found it. We're exploiting it. So you better be covering those things up. If we have a strength, we're exacerbating it. So you better have a full staff.
yeah,
If we got a full staff, you better have sideline, huddle sideline and
yeah,
have a full apparatus. I saw teams that had it but never used it.
yeah,
Oh man, you can't beat us like that. You better be a Dana Hills. You better be a Paraclete
yeah,
that's doing things. So we are the standard. It is the age of Wilson. There's
okay,
a lot of turnover still happening as we're finding consistency and rhythm. Another thing before we change topics, before you jump back in, is we're going up still.
okay.
If you want to beat us, if you're in Morley and you want to beat us, you better catch us in D2. You better catch us in D3. Because we're not playing this game where we want to hang out at the middle tier.
I got
Uh,
you. I got you. I got you.
Right. You better be improving at that type of level and revamping your program to match us, and then bring it on. That just make us better. So if you want to catch us, you better catch us on the up. You ain't gonna catch us on the down, not no time soon.
Hey man, hey, definitely. Hey, this Coach Curtis, man. I actually had a chance to see some of this dude, I like how like when you talked about marketing, and I think you understand marketing. And I came from radio, so I understand marketing as well. I don't think you did it on purpose, and that's what the great part about it is. It was the genuine conversations you would have with your players before and after games, and you told somebody to roll the film, but you wasn't worried about the film. You just said you knew what was coming, what was coming. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So just catch it, because it's gonna be, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a highlight. So
Well, I think a lot of access was something that I gave pretty freely at Wilson, right? Alumni, a lot of others coaches, right? They want to limit, where alumni can come on the field, or
I like that.
media, right? If players had they personal like videographers, man, you have full access. I'm almost moving out your way
Okay.
to, you know what I mean? You down silent, let me, oh no, keep your shot. No, I go around you, you know what I mean? I got 5'6" 2" on my sideline, welcomed,
Yeah.
where we were able to archive a lot of the success, right? But it was genuine. It wasn't really for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
camera.
I could
You know
tell.
what I
I could
mean?
tell. I could tell. It was just like, hey, you just explained it. Like, yeah, you could turn the camera on because I ain't even worried about the camera. What goes on with us, me and my boys and my athletes goes on regardless. Just turn the camera on so they can see it. I could
Yeah.
tell.
And
So
and, and the new generation loves it, man. They
yeah,
love to be
yeah.
able to see themselves.
That's a conversation I'm gonna have with you offline, but I definitely think that's the way of the new age. And I
Yeah,
told a couple of big schools about that too, and I see they do that a little bit more. But I don't want to hold you up any. I want to check back in with you before the season starts, and I give you and them players my word. I'm gonna be out there because when I come to a game, I record play by play and post it play by play. So it's something different, but everybody gets a kick out of it because
yeah,
it's some names we might know and it's some names we might not know, and sometimes the names we might not know made a lot of plays. So,
yeah,
it just builds the program up, man. But hey, Coach Curtis, man, I super appreciate you hanging out with us. You're a real 100. You know what I mean. To stand
yeah,
Long Beach stand up, all my family out there, Big Trady, Darnell Bean, Mercedes Lewis, all them. So,
yeah.
so definitely love to the city of Long Beach, man. And I appreciate you for hanging out with us.
Hey, man, thanks for the opportunity. That was a great conversation, man. Anytime you want me back,
Oh, no,
man,
no,
just
yeah,
holler at me.
hey, we're gonna check back in before the season starts. I want to see where things is at, and like I said, I give you my word. We're gonna Turf Talk gonna come to a game as well.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the empire, baby.
Hey,
Angel
appreciate
Wilson.
it. Have a good one.